Yes, I believe I was among the first actresses that were able to read the script, and I was so impressed. I was so touched that I met a project that was so wonderful, so different, so fun, so special, and it's such a crazy project, the project that we just finished. And I was so lucky to be there since the outset and to be involved with the creation of this project, to participate in it together with Jacques Audiard since the start. I didn't really think that we would be able to make it work because it was so difficult and so weird and so nuanced. And there was music, there was dance, there was the issue of the desaparecidos, and there were so many issues that were all so challenging and so mixed together. I thought it would be impossible to pull off. So at first I even joked and told Jacques, well, are we going to shoot this on a Motorola? Because it's impossible for this to be a real movie. But we did make it, and it's a project that we just saw. And I didn't believe and I didn't trust that we would ever get it done. And now I get so emotional. We all get emotional. It's a gift. It's a gift that Jacques Audiard gave all of us. And I'm just so happy that we did all this.
Well, first, I would like to probably just acknowledge that the people around me have really guided me in making the right choices. And I when I read it, I thought it was wild. I mean, I thought it was beautiful. I cried. Um, and when I did the audition, Jacques didn't know much about me, which I really appreciated because I feel as if he could see me as a blank canvas in a way. And he really allowed me to help mold this character. And I'm so deeply appreciative and honored to be a part of such a beautiful movie. This is the yummy stuff that I think all actors dream to do. So I'm beyond myself.
Yeah, I don't think that Jack was familiar with my work as well. I don't really see Jack running to watch science fiction, at the drop of a hat. But it gave me an opportunity to reinvent myself, but to reconnect with myself and my roots. As a former ballerina, as a former New Yorker who loves Broadway and the stage, I grew up basically watching it, grew up on stage doing a whole bunch of musicals, in school and recitals and things like that. So being able to now doing it on a professional level, that opportunity had never presented itself. And everything about this package was really a gift. And it was definitely that kind of gift that I kind of felt, if I can be so lucky, if he sees me and he sees that I can do it, I'll give 200%. And that's what I sort of did on the Zoom. I wasn't pitching myself. I just wanted to not have a panic attack while I was staring at him via Zoom. I think that being in a Zoom provided me the comfort of me taming my emotions, because I tend to get nervous in interviews, and but he was comforting. I don't know, like he told me about the story. I liked how excited he was, but in a very approachable way. He felt familiar to me. By the time we started singing, and mind you, just so you know, there's a delay. There was a little bit of static in our Zoom and everything. And with all of that, he felt the potential that I was presenting, and pitching to him for Rita, and then we had another Zoom. And that's when, he was asking me deeper questions of like, well, you're not Mexican. I'm like, well, I'm not. But he goes, how would you explain that? How can we explain that? And I thought, well, that's easy. I think that following, the migration patterns, like maybe she comes from one place and she ends up studying there and living in Mexico City. And he goes, fine, you'll work on all that because I want you to play Rita. And I was just like, what? We were having two different conversations on the second Zoom because I needed him to say it. I wanted to hear the words like, I want you to play Rita. But in his mind, he was already like, well, if we're planning on how you're going to make this work and you're going to work out all the back history, it's because you're on board, right? And so it was a much more surreal experience, the second Zoom, than the first one, yes. There was a song, the song when Emilia and Rita meet. Emilia present, and they're sitting at the dinner table at this restaurant, but the song obviously evolved into what it is in the film. But when we did it, it was called 4 Years, right? Was it called 4 Years? And they're just talking. Oh no, por casualidad. We did one called Por casualidad, and I sang that one, and that one was about the encounter at the restaurant, and then the reconnecting with Emilia present and Rita, and that one's called Cuatro Años, because they're sort of talking about like everything that they've been through in the 4 years since they last saw each other, and it evolved into this beautiful like sisterhood between Rita and Emilia, and they were very compelling songs. What I loved about being a part of this project is that there was a before and an after. A before of like, these are the expectations, and once we began shooting, not even Jacques got in the way of the story. The story evolved and became what it is today, because of everything that we all put into the table.
But I think the most important message is that love is the most important thing in the world, and that you always can have an opportunity while you are still alive. So I think more than, because people have been talking about, oh, it's a drug lord and blah, 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 and narco traffic and violence, and of course, violence and all of these themes are part of the movie, no? And maybe are the trigger, but it's not the most important thing. It's about like, how can you evolve, and how can you be what you really want to be, and how the environment can, make you do things that maybe you don't want to do, but you have the chance to do different. And love, it's a great power to do that. So I think that could be the most important and powerful message of the movie.